Hi, it's Joel Sharpton at The Rogues Life on Twitter. You can also follow me at meandthegeekpod.com for a weekly geekly conversation into a different geek's life. Right now, though, we're talking about Daredevil, and specifically, we're going to be discussing the 4th episode of the Netflix series from Marvel. So if you are not all caught up and haven't at least watched through the 4th episode, then now is not the time to watch this video. Thanks for checking me out, but watch it later. Okay, everybody's here. Let's get right to it. This episode for me is all about consequences. Consequences for almost all of the characters. For Claire, for being involved with Matt. For the Russians being unable to bring the devil in. For the one brother for interrupting a man's first date. And for Ben Urich and Karen Page as they begin to dig into the Union Allied scandal. First, let's talk about Claire's story. She is beaten, she's terrified, she's tortured, and still in the end, she gives Matt her blessing for what he's doing, telling him about how many people he's helping, and also we get maybe the first hints that Matt might inspire others when she talks about how she's afraid and everyone's afraid, and yet he can do something about that fear. So that's kind of exciting. She also challenges Matt to think bigger, saying that he's in the middle of something and just going out and beating up bad guys is not enough anymore. In another story, Karen buys Foggy and Matt some office furniture, and we find out that Ben Urich is careful, but he's not cold-hearted, and he's completely in the fight now. He hasn't crossed paths yet with Matt and with Foggy, but that'll happen sooner or later. We also get our first real hint in this scene in the diner, I believe is where it happens, where Ben hints at Karen's past. We've gotten the sense that maybe there's something, and we don't get a lot here. We don't know whether it's, drug use or alcoholism or whatever, but the other shoe will drop at some point, if not this season, at some point in the future. Let's talk about the Russians. First, I love the backstory. The opening of the episode starts in the Russian prison, and you see these two brothers connecting and dreaming of escaping. But man, Daredevil is quickly joining The Walking Dead and a lot of Game of Thrones episodes as a show that I spend a non-trivial amount of time each episode with my hands covering my eyes, sort of watching through my fingers. It's so much gore at times. It really is a lot. This storyline started that way and it ended that way as well, although we've only seen the end to one brother so far. I didn't mention this person when I was listing the characters in the episode that were facing consequences, but we don't say his name, remember? In honor of our fallen Russian comrade, though, I will. Let's talk about Mr. Wilson for a minute. Mr. Wilson goes on a date. That's what we could call this episode. And what a way to end the date and the episode. When you cast Kingpin, you have to cast an actor with a great amount of will and charisma. I think you have to cast an actor with a pretty startling size. I think that's required. You need the bald head, in my opinion. But I don't think you have to have someone who is actually physically deadly. I think there is a satisfying version of the story that you could tell with a Kingpin that doesn't actually get his hands dirty. But it's nice in this episode that we finally find out for sure that this Kingpin, this Wilson Fisk, is a man who is not only willing but very capable with his own hands. This episode is great for a lot of reasons, but the biggest one for me is that now we know we're going to get a Kingpin versus Daredevil fight. Maybe not this season. Maybe they'll save it for future seasons, but at some point this will be paid off, and it's going to be amazing. What else? That's about all for this episode, I think. If you've got anything to add, you can drop them in the comments below. You can find me on Facebook, Me and the Geek. Just search for that on Facebook or Twitter and feedback there. And if you enjoy the episodes, make sure that you subscribe to our channel so that you'll get more in the future. I'll be back soon with a review of episode 5 of the Netflix Marvel's Daredevil series. There you go. Until next time, this is Joel with Me and the Geek.